Hi guys, this is going to be a really quick one, hopefully, if I can stop myself rambling. But I happen to have two Mulberry Bayswaters here in two different leathers, so I just thought for some of you it would be interesting to see. Now, the reason why I have this lovely red one there is because my friend Hella just bought that off somebody, and she lives, not the one who sold it, but Hella lives in Denmark, so I said rather than having to pay for it to be shipped over there, have it shipped to me, and the next time I see her I'll just give it to her. So there you go, Hella. She said do a review and I can drool over it. Isn't it pretty? Yay. Anyway, very quickly, and I'll show you that on mine because then I don't have to feel so gentle when handling it because it's not my bag, this one. Mulberry Bayswater, iconic, or probably the most iconic Mulberry design, recognisable and much copied the world over. You've got the classic shape, kind of probably similar to MS and whatever else, kind of day toed shape with the flap over closure, which closes with the iconic postman's lock, which has changed slightly in the redesign, in the recent redesign, but still essentially maintains that aesthetic. You've also got these belts here on the side, which you can, where is it, can you see it? There we go. Which you can adjust here, so you could let out a fair bit and you could make your bag an awful lot deeper at the top as well. On the inside you have a zipped pocket, a zip. How deep is that? There we go, that's about how deep it is, and it has two slip pockets on top, there and there. New Bayswater has this on the front, which actually I have to admit is quite a good idea. And there you go, since we're in there, may as well show you the fob with the number. So there you go. Right, measurements of both bags pretty much the same. Handle drop of this one is a tiny bit more, and I'm just going to give you the measurements in case you haven't watched or can't be bothered watching my full Bayswater review. Measures about 37 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters high, and at its widest, or rather at its deepest, is about 16 centimeters deep. Now, the difference in leathers. This is printed NVT, so natural vegetable tanned. Smells gorgeous. Feels really earthy and natural. Bag is fully suede lined. And you can actually see quite well the pattern printing through there. Now, it is printed, so that means that obviously this sort of what looks like, some people call it croc, it used to be called Congo leather, but it's just a print on the leather, obviously, that gives it this appearance. And the leather, apart from these deep ridges, which give it this sort of scaly kind of appearance, is really smooth. So the bit in between here is really smooth. If you look close here, so you see sort of very light creases, very natural, but it looks like a smooth leather. Okay, because this is a fairly thick leather, and because it's printed, it retains its rigidity quite well. So this one isn't packed or stuffed or anything, and you can see it stands up even though it's a few years old. So it doesn't really slump into itself. It's quite rigid and quite hard, and it will retain that shape more so than a normal NVT oak bag, and that's simply because it is that printed leather. I'm not going to go into the mechanics and the physics of it or whatever, but it's just obviously what the material does. If you print it, it just gets more rigid. So there you go. That's that. Whereas this other one is Glossy Gold. And the Glossy Gold, can you see that? Has an all over either print, or I don't know whether that's a natural grain of the leather, but it's really fine and even, much smaller. Obviously it's not scales, it's just, yeah, it looks like natural structure of the leather, but I don't know whether they have very smooth leather and then print that on, or whether this is the natural grain of the leather, but it looks like natural grain leather. But as the name suggests, glossy gold, it has some sense of shine to it. It's quite glossy, it's quite shiny, and the advantage of this one over the oak, be it plain oak or be it printed, is that oak can be quite sensitive when it comes to water. Now, I regularly treat it with colonel spray and with gel and stuff, and so far I've never had a problem. And I would probably, if I had one of these, I'd do the same. But they are just known for being just not sensitive when it comes to being caught in the rain and that kind of stuff. Other than that, the features of both bags are exactly the same. So we've got postman's lock, we've got, like this, we've got the belts at the side. As you can see on my bag, I just attached the cloche here because it does my head in when it hangs on the front there. We've got in both of them the inside pocket. We've got the two slip pockets, exactly the same. Everything's exactly the same. And you can see this leather flops a bit more. So whilst it's being less sensitive to water, it is also a lot softer. You can't really see it. It's a very new bag, so it hasn't really started to sink yet, but they do sink after a while. If that bothers you, you might be into that more relaxed look, but if that bothers you, I would advise you to get a liner from Samorga or whatever, one of those more rigid ones, and that will help it stay up. This one's actually stuffed at the moment, so it doesn't sink as much as it would do, and the corners are still quite rigid. But anyway, difference between NVT oak and glossy gold: less sensitive in rain. I heard some people call it bomb proof, but I'm not sure I would go that far. But gets softer over time, retains its rigidity, more sensitive to rain spots. Right, okay. 7 minutes 42 seconds. That was alright, that wasn't too bad. I hope you found this useful. Let me know what you think. Bye.